For years, I thrived in the high-pressure business world, but the workaholic life finally caught up with me. I was 35, very overweight, in chronic pain with severe mobility issues, terrible diet, no exercise. My health was a complete wreck. Then I went to a gentle yoga class and felt truly relaxed. The stress just melted away. I went from a size 18 to a size 8. I stopped getting sick. Pain disappeared. I learned to open my heart and I felt happy for the first time in years. So I said goodbye to the business world and started teaching. Yoga doesn't have to be strenuous. The easiest movements can trigger major release of chronic symptoms, no matter your age.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Hello, I'm Deborah Devine, and welcome to Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. And yes, that was me in the opening story. I had lots of real problems before discovering gentle yoga. Long hours at a desk, my weight, inactivity, they were all causing real circulation issues. I was starting to feel cold, pain, tingling, numbness in all of my extremities. For Zoomers, heart disease and clogged arteries are also a major cause of bad circulation. But yoga, even a gentle yoga practice with simple poses, can make a huge difference. You don't have to be a fit athlete to do this practice. We're going to start with a standing warm-up to get the blood pumping to our hands and feet. And we'll keep this heat rising with a series of standing and lying down poses that will also get lymph, oxygen, and prana moving in and old, stale energy moving out. All of our energy channels will be refreshed. The poses are so easy that at first you might doubt their effectiveness, but do the whole series. Or if you're busy, just do one or two poses and you'll notice a wonderful difference. Let's start the healing. Joining me today, Sheila, John, and Susan. And all of us are looking forward to experiencing an improvement in our circulation with this practice. Let's begin our warm-up in Tadasana. We'll be taking some sun breaths. We're letting the in-breath come up the front line of the body, lifting everything in its path. Cresting like a wave at the crown of the head and cascading down the back line, taking the shoulder blades down, taking the sit bones and the tailbone down and grounding through the heels. Next time an in-breath comes along, we'll take the arms out and up, and we'll come up on the tiptoes, reaching with fingers. Exhaling, hands come together in towards heart space, and then we bend the knees just a little bit. Another in-breath, reaching up and lifting. We've got this wonderful idea of increasing circulation in the lower extremities here by coming up on the tiptoes and then bending the ankles and getting some movement of energy in the calves and in the ankles. Reaching up, lifting the ribs off of the hips, up on the tiptoes, exhaling down. Hands come to heart center, knees bend. Wonderful. Now we'll come back to Tadasana. And we'll take a couple of helicopter circles. So we're just going to keep the legs stable and lifting the ribs off of the pelvis, lifting the heart, opening up the collarbones, and just beginning to let the arms swing around. Please stay out of the pain zone. If this is really uncomfortable, just come back to smaller helicopter circles. We'd like to stay in the comfort/discomfort zone so that we can work with the boundary by breathing into it. We are experiencing a wonderful wringing out of all of the belly organs. We have so many lymphatic vessels and lymph nodes that live in between all of the belly organs. And because we're not really moving too much, they get stuck. There's toxins and waste products that the cells are creating, and the lymph is supposed to be drawing those waste products away, making sure that there's fresh lymph, pure lymph that's coming in to clean things up. Please continue to enjoy any one of these moves that feels best for you. And when we come back, we'll be working with some more poses that are wonderful for improving circulation.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Hi, my name is John. I had a circulation problem for 18 months. I had a problem with the cold fingers and toes. It's a tinkling pain on my toes. It's painful and I feel uncomfortable. My wife suggested me practice yoga. So this yoga really surprised me, making me feel much better. And That eliminated my problem. After practicing yoga for 1 year, I didn't get any cold and flu. I feel my immune system is pretty strong now.
Welcome back. This practice is focused on improving our circulation. And John, I thought it was wonderful that you've experienced so much improvement in your circulation since you've taken up your yoga practice.
Yes, my tingling pains are totally gone. My coldness on the fingers and the toes are 80% gone.
Wonderful. Well, this next sequence of movements, I hope, will eliminate all of that cold because we're going to be heating things up with some modified sun salutations. So let's come to the head of the mat with a chair in front to help us with our forward folds. We will come to Tadasana, our mountain pose. Heels are out, toes are in, about hip width apart. Find out if the outside edges of the feet can be parallel to the outside edges of the mat. That will help your low back tremendously. Next time an in-breath comes along, inhale the arms out and up, and exhale down into a forward fold, bending the knees, placing your hands on the chair. Now we'll inhale and we'll lift the heart, extending the spine, and then we'll exhale and forward fold again, maybe deepening the stretch of the hamstrings. We'll inhale, the left leg come back, letting the knee rest on the floor. Exhaling, pressing down into the right heel. Inhaling the arms up, reaching the ribs away from the hips. Exhaling, hands come back down to the chair. And then we'll switch legs. So the right leg comes back, left leg comes forward. Inhaling the arms out and up. Exhaling, coming back down to the chair. And then the right leg comes forward, going into a forward fold. Exhaling. Inhaling, lengthen the spine and come up halfway. Open the heart. Exhale, forward fold. And then we'll energize the legs, strengthen all the muscles of the spine, and inhale all the way back up. Hands come to heart space. That was great. Now we're going to be moving into Apanasana. So let's remove the chairs and come down onto our backs. Apanasana is a wonderful pose to improve circulation because we're going to be carrying on this idea of opening and closing the body. The sun salutations are a wonderful way to heat things up and get the fluids moving. And Apanasana is going to allow us to go deeper into the belly organs to really move out old energy and make room for fresh prana to radiate out to our tips. Now, the next time an out breath comes along, take the right knee up into the belly and hold on to the knee with the hands. Take a long, slow, smooth in-breath and a long, slow, smooth out-breath here. And then the next time an in-breath comes along, take the arms up and over behind you and exhale the left knee into the belly, taking the knee with your hands. Another breath cycle here, just noticing how there's a little bit of pressure being made on the belly. Inhaling the arms out and up, very slowly and deliberately exhaling, right knee comes up into the belly. Feel the action that's created deep inside the hip socket here. There's a deepening of the hip crease. The femur is moving more deeply into the hip socket. And maybe you can feel that the leg is coming into the belly a little bit more, massaging all of the visceral organs on the right side. We've got the ascending colon, we've got the liver and the gallbladder. Now, the next time an in-breath comes along, open the arms out and up and release the leg back down. Circle the hands, spread the fingers nice and wide. And then the next time an out-breath comes along, the knee on the left side comes in, holding on to the knee with the hands. You can hold on to the outside of the knee, or if this is challenging, you can always take it behind the crease of the knee. Yes. Now, let's engage dorsiflexion with this high foot. Heel strong, toes spread wide apart. If the right leg is energized, that's also going to help bring some more circulation deep into the muscles and the connective tissue of the legs. This is a wonderful way to improve circulation of all of the blood vessels and lymphatic vessels deep around the belly organs. Now, please continue to enjoy Apanasana, moving from right side to left side, and we'll be back in a few moments to work with some more wonderful poses and breath techniques to improve our circulation. Inhaling the arms out and up, lengthening the legs.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. For more yoga, go to onetv.ca/healing-yoga. Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Welcome back. We're using this gentle yoga practice to help improve our circulation. And Sheila, I wanted to ask you about the challenge that you have with your leg and circulation right now.
Yeah, it's just a bit of an uncomfortable feeling behind the knee, I also feel like I have to shake my leg out quite a bit. It feels like it's just not quite circulating the way it should.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is a varicose vein that we're dealing with, that area behind the knee?
Yes, it's behind the knee and it's also running right up the thigh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this next sequence of poses, I hope, will bring some relief to your varicose veins. This whole practice, I hope, will help improve your symptoms. We're going to be taking goddess pose, horse stance. So let's come to sideways on the mat, taking the feet a little bit wider than hips, maybe a lot wider than hips if your legs and your hips are feeling open. Now, the toes and the knees need to be facing the same direction in order to keep the knees safe. Now, we'll come to straight legs and Tadasana with wide legs here. Inhaling, everything comes up on the front line of the body. Exhale, the knees will bend and we'll squeeze the sit bones together. Inhale, the arms out and up. Exhale, elbows bend. And then we'll inhale, everything straightens, reaching the fingers at the top. Exhale. This is a wonderful way to get some action happening in the leg muscles, in the connective tissue, in all of the blood vessels, as well as the lymphatic tissue. Circulation in the legs is very important because we spend so much time sitting at our desks, sitting in our cars. It's so important to take a break and move. Come back up with the arms and the legs, turn the toes forward, and then walk the feet into the center. Take Tadasana and enjoy that movement of lymph and energy and prana and blood and lymphatic fluid in the lower extremities. Feel how much intelligence you're cultivating in your legs. Now we'll be taking Supta Padangustasana, hand to big toe pose. We come down onto our back and we take a belt. It doesn't have to be a fancy yoga belt. It can also be an old bathrobe tie, an old tie that your husband has lying around. And we're going to be taking the looped part of the belt onto the foot, the ball of the big toe, the ball of the baby toe, and the right arm is holding onto the belt. The left arm is out to the side. Now, maybe your hamstring is not quite warmed up. Maybe you'd like to bend your knee. Yes, bringing your knee in towards the belly a little bit more and allowing your hamstring to unravel slowly is a wonderful way to keep the hamstring protected. It takes about 1.5 years for a torn hamstring to completely mend, so be kind to your hamstrings at all times by bending your knee. And then, grounding on this left side, take your left hand down onto the hip, open out the right leg to the right. Keep the foot high. You don't need to come all the way to the floor. We're just getting a wonderful opening on the inner line of the leg. All kinds of lymphatic tissue here, all kinds of blood vessels here that are stuck. The same way that on the back line of the body, we've got a lot of stagnant energy hanging around. The same goes for the inner line of the leg. And when we clear out the energy on the inner line of the leg, we can stand with a lot more power. Now, coming back with your right leg and then switching hands. Your left hand is going to take the belt with here, yes. And then we've got this bolster that's set up waiting for our leg to land on it. The right arm comes out and we're resting on the ground. Maybe the shoulder blade could come a little bit closer to the ground as well. So we've got this wonderful wringing out action. This is my favorite version of Supta Padangustasana, and it's wonderful to be able to build up to that. So letting the sit bone come down towards the grounded foot, creating a little bit more space between the top of the hip and the bottom of the ribs. Take your gaze all the way over to your open hand. Long, slow, smooth in breath. Long, slow, smooth, and complete out breath. Let the belly come to the front spine. Move that lymph and that blood in the belly. And then in breath comes nourishing all of the cells. Next time an out breath comes along, we'll lift the leg back up and then release the belt, and we'll change over to the opposite side. All right, pressing the foot into the belt and the belt into the foot, drawing the sit bone down towards the grounded foot. If you can move your bolster and your support over to the opposite side and give yourself more belt, give yourself more belt, give yourself more belt. Yes. And then the leg can rest, and we can really work deeply in the pose here. There are so many blood vessels, so many miles and miles of blood vessels and lymphatic vessels in the body. The heart is the pump that moves blood throughout the body to all of the cells, nourishing the cells with oxygen and other nutrients. The lymphatic system is very different. There is no pump moving lymph around. The pumping action comes from our physical movements. By squeezing the organs, squeezing the muscles, lymph starts to move back into the core. And then the lymph is purified and freshened, and then it moves again back out to the rest of the body. Very similar to how blood moves. All right, coming back with the leg, back to center, releasing the belt, letting your legs come down, shaking your legs out. Now, please continue to take another round of Supta Padangustasana on the right side and then the left side, and we'll be back in just a few moments to cool down.
Healing yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Spending just 10 minutes a day in an upside down position, for example, with legs up the wall, is great for increasing circulation. Alternating hot and cold water in the shower is also very therapeutic.
Welcome back. We've been enjoying some wonderful practices to help us enhance our circulation. And now we're going to be going for a cool down with bridge. So we'll come back onto our backs, knees bent, feet about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. And the heels are out and the toes are in. So that helps give us a little bit of an inner spiral of the upper leg bones, which is wonderful for the SI joints in the back. Now just allow yourself to feel grounded through the back of the pelvis. Allow yourself to feel grounded through the shoulder blades. And then the next time an out breath comes along, let the belly come to the front spine and pause there for just a moment. And then an in breath will come along and we'll press down into the feet and lift the pelvis. I'm going to be sliding a bolster underneath Sheila's pelvis, and then we can rest down with her pelvis. If we're taking a more gentle and passive version of the pose, as we are here with Sheila on the bolster, we can begin to let one leg come long, one leg comes long, and we'll take a breath and see if we can expand and extend through the front of the hip. And then this leg bends again, and then the left leg comes along, expanding and extending. Now, Susan is doing a more modified or a more advanced version of the pose, whereby she's got her pelvis a lot higher. She's really pressing down with the feet and energizing the whole back line of the body, which is opening up the front line. This is a wonderful way to create expansion for all of the nerves, all of the blood vessels, all of the lymphatic tissues. Now you can bend this knee, and then we'll come to the right leg. Perhaps you'd like to lift the right leg up and keep it there for a few breaths. Maybe circling the foot and spreading the toes, and then we'll switch sides. There are about 72,000 nadis, these yogic nerve channels that we hear about. And the interesting thing about these nadis is that they are just clear flow of energy. These energy channels crisscross across the spine, up and down the spine. And where they make a connection, that is creating an energy vortex, what we know as chakras, wheels of energy. And these wheels are circling around. And when there's blocked energy, those wheels are not circling. There's a sense of stagnation there. So depending on where you're feeling that stuck energy, you could be using your breath to breathe light and spaciousness, not only into the physical tissues, into the muscles and the connective tissue and the nerves and the blood vessels, but also into these energy channels, the nadis. If we engage the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, with that slight constriction at the back of the throat, we're amplifying and concentrating the power of the prana that's coming in on the in-breath. Now, let's come down with that opposite leg, and then we'll get you to lift the pelvis, we'll remove the bolster, and come down. Now keep your knees bent here, Sheila. I'm going to draw the bolster underneath your knees again, and then you can let your legs come long one at a time, or you can just let yourself rest in Shavasana on the floor. Give your legs a bit of an inner spiral to create some space around the SI joints. And then let your legs flop out. Just let your legs rest. Please continue to enjoy Shavasana for at least another 15 minutes. And we'll see you again next time on Healing Yoga. Namaste.